What is going on, YouTube? C0L3 here, back with a brand new video. Today. So I can tell by the title, man. Hey, man. Every man should watch this video. Hey, shout out to, what's this guy's name? Mediocre Tutorials. I don't know what this A stands for. This is my first time watching this video, checking out his channel. And I came across this video. It just says every man should watch this. So, I'm a man. So I'm like, hey, man, why not? I'll watch it with y'all. Before we get into this, man, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe down below, join the movement. Ooh. And let's get into it, man. Oh, snap. Hold up. I forgot to put y'all on float. So we can float. Yeah.
Let's get active.
I seen a post from a woman on here that said the real reason she doesn't date attractive men is because basically once her type, you can get away with almost anything. And I 100% feel that. Like, I'm not gonna say I date ugly women because I don't, but like, I stay away from my type. Because my type has me spending money that I don't have, skipping work that I need to be doing, mentally going through all the loops, and I don't want to go through no more circuses. I don't want to chase nobody. I only want who wants me.
This is called simping, by the way. You're simping, my guy.
So I'm not going after my type, and my type is the traditional bad. And I think that's everybody's type.
The traditional baddie.
But the bad has a worse personality. That's all I'm saying. So I like women that like me as much as I like them, as well as have personality to go with looks, have smarts to go with looks.
Okay.
Like, my type, all you gotta do is be light skin, curly hair, and a nice body and a pretty face, and boom, here's my wallet. Here it all. Oh, you need your nails done? Don't even. Don't worry, I got it. And I don't got it.
You don't got it. That's
I
funny.
really don't got it.
All right.
So that shit is like detrimental to my life.
Yeah.
So I stay away from them.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We can attack this in a couple of different ways because there's some things I agree with him on and there's some things that I absolutely do not agree with him on. The first thing is as far as from an agreement perspective, the badder that they are, the harder that they fall, or said a little bit better, attractive people have what is referred to as the halo effect, right? The more attractive that you are, generally, the better traits that people would assign to you, right? So you can have bad behavior, but you face little to no consequences for said bad behavior because people take a look at your face and they think that either you didn't do it or it wasn't as bad as what an ugly person did. Nevertheless, though, because of this phenomena, yes, they might have lived a life of more privilege, more entitlement, less consequences for their actions, and therefore, within their relationships, they're more apt to treat you like shit. This is a well-known fact. It is something that's been going on since the beginning of modern-ass times, but here we are. Now, that's one side of the coin. So I get when a guy says, hey, listen, I don't want to date these types of women because they are typically more trouble, right? They're more inconvenienced within my life. I get that understanding, but that's not really what you're saying. What you're saying here is essentially I'm a simp because I see this woman and she asks me for things, and even if I don't have things to give, I'm gonna beg from Peter, I'm gonna steal from Paul in order to get them things. No, that's not how this works. See, it's the opposite. Listen, I have a little bit of grace for this young brother right here because I remember a situation that I was dealing with. I had to be like in my mid-20s or so, had my first job out of undergrad, met this pretty young thing at the office. We went out a couple of times. Now, I'm thinking that because, we work at this.
For things to change, you gotta change. Everybody wants things to change, but that's not how it works.
the same place, relatively in the same department. We're going to have a lot of the same values, which generally surrounded around being a good person. What I've come to understand is a basic biological truth that I see with many of these women today is that some of them just don't respond well to you being a nice guy, treating them well. They feed off of toxicity. They won't respond to you unless they feel like they can't easily get you. And it's almost like you have to play a dirty, dark arts game with them in order to get them to respect you. And I've also come to understand that those are not the ones that are great for relationships, so who gives a shit anyway? I'll play the game with you for a little bit in order to get up in them cheeks, up until she hands over them viscous innards. Nevertheless, though, what I've had to learn over time is that my inability to say no was hampering my success within the dating game. Also, attributing fantastic.
That is facts, yo. Like, bro, I done been in that situation a couple times, yo. Like, you ever just been head over heels for a girl? Like, you just can't tell her no, or you don't want to let her down, or you don't want to, you just want to give her everything. You want to give her the world. And that was me, y'all. Like, I couldn't say no. I ain't have a backbone. I didn't, I couldn't be honest. And I agree to some degree what this guy is saying. He's saying to, like, not date those type of women that you find really attractive. And I don't think you should not date them. I think you just need to realize how to date them. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you should just completely eliminate, because then what you're doing is you like this type of girl, but you're settling for something that's, because you think it's safer to do that. When in actuality, you want this type of girl, right? Which, and again, brother right here, man, he's saying, like, usually those girls aren't great for relationships anyway. So you really gotta see what you're dealing with here. Is this girl willing? You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at the what is it called? I'm probably gonna say this wrong. The reciprocity of the situation. So are you giving her money, right? And all this, but is that equaling out to her, doing, fulfilling your needs? We'll just say that. Fulfilling your needs, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, or is it the opposite? You're not getting a return on your investment. If you're not getting a return on your investment, I mean, I ain't go to school for business, and I'm not no business professor, but I feel like anybody would tell you to back out of that deal if you're not getting no ROI. But, that's just my thoughts. That's just what I think. But I can totally understand why you would want to stay away from women that are your type, especially when you have a problem with, spending money on them and treating them above yourself, because I think every man struggles with that. You know what I'm saying?
Factors or attributes on account of the halo effect when looking at her or judging how her character is going to be, or if I do this for her, then she's going to automatically try to reciprocate that. It doesn't work that way. You have to be able to look at the actions and practice discernment within those actions so that you can know where to place her on the relative scale of taking her seriously. So again, I agree that the more attractive, the more risk for bad behavior. And if you simp for these women, if you treat them like a star while they belittle you or treat you like a fan, if they can just walk over you like a doormat, you will never get to the goal. You will never get a prize at the end of it. So you'll find yourself wasting money, time, purpose, and also within that, you got to think to yourself, why are you even wasting time in general? If you don't have it, why are you not focus all of your extra time outside of dating, but on working on your financial foundation, your financial education, attaining a high income earning skill so that you can build up the base enough so you can date realistically. But nevertheless, I appreciate the young scholar speaking about this, because even if he was to gain money, he'd lose all that goddamn money because he doesn't understand the psychology behind it when he's dating. A simp and his money is soon parted. My guy, again, Learn how to say no. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how curly their hair is. I don't care how light to peanut butter skin that they are. I don't care how giant of a can that sit atop her waist. You treat them all the same. Not to mention that those ones with the big heads, because
And that's easier said than done, y'all. Like he says that so simple, and you're probably watching this video right now. Anybody that's, how many views does this have? This has 41K views. So like I said, it's easier said than done. Doesn't happen overnight. But I think the easiest way to, to start having, because basically what you're doing is you're setting up boundaries for yourself, right? The easiest way to start having boundaries is being able to say no to other people in your life. And that's hard as well, because nobody wants to let another person down, you know what I'm saying? But in actuality, like, your problems isn't everybody's problems, dog. Let's just call a spade. Like, what somebody else got going on in your life, and they decide to ask you for something, or they decide to get you involved in the mix. You know what I'm saying? It's cool if you want to help, if you're feeling genuine in that moment to help, but everybody's problems is not your problems, bro. The only problems that you got to focus on is, your family, yourself, and that's pretty much it. Anybody who means, a little bit of something towards you. But everybody, bro, and even then, like, you still got to be picky. Like, nah, I can't do that today, bro. Or nah, I don't want to go there. Or nah, I don't want to do this. Or, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be able to, because then once you build that habit up, it's like, and another thing too is you got to be able to be alone too, right? That's another thing. But let me finish this statement. So once you start to build that habit up of saying no, it becomes easier over time. And another thing too is you got to be alone, or you got to be okay with being alone. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine this, right? Because girls are real petty. But imagine this scenario, right? You tell a girl, y'all talking on the phone. She talking about, I want to go here tomorrow. And you don't really want to go there, so you tell her, nah, I don't want to do that. And she be like, no. What you mean, no? And you like, nah, I just don't want to do that, right? Now she all upset. She in her feelings. She's like, why don't you want to do that? You don't ever want to do nothing for me, and you don't ever want to go nowhere. We always chill at you feel me? Like, and and then you just sitting there, you like, and then she says, you know what? That's why you don't care about me anyway. And she hangs up on you, right? What is every guy's first instance to do after they get hung up on? What is every guy's first instance? The first instance is to call back immediately after you get hung up on, right? Because now what that does psychologically is that shows the girl that you care about. You care about her more than she cares about you. For a girl to sit there and give you lip and all that and then hang up in your face, that's disrespectful, right? So now you're rewarding disrespect. You get what I'm saying? By calling her back. But instead, what you should do is leave her alone. She hung up on you, wait for her to call back. And if she never calls back, she never calls back. But she's going to call back, because it's like, the girls at the end of the day, bro. They're going to call back. But if you got to be okay. You got to be okay with sitting there and realizing, okay. And that'll be the test for you right there. Okay, am I okay with this girl leaving out of my life? Or does she mean that much to me that I need her in my life? And you shouldn't need any girl in your life. To be honest, you should always want a girl to be in your life, not need. Needing and wanting something is two different things. Need is out of desperation. Want is out of abundance. So, that's just a quick scenario. I know it's actually pretty realistic, to be honest. I could think of that in my head. But, yeah, like he was saying, though, everything is psychology. Especially with girls, bro. I promise you, they are a lot smarter than what you think. And it's like a whole puzzle trying to deal with them and trying to figure out their emotions and trying to figure out, what they're thinking and how they're feeling. Because the thing about women, and I know I'm rambling, this will be the last thing I say. The thing about women, everything is subtle. You have to pick up on, you have to look at small. If you're not a detail-oriented person, you're probably going to fail with women. I'm not going to lie with you, bro. And I say this, I'm not saying this like I'm some expert, bro. I'll be failing, bro. I probably done took more L's than you have taken. I would keep it to be. Like, you probably have more success than me. I'll be failing a lot, bro. I'll be taking them L's on the chin. And that's why I can kind of speak on this a little bit because, I have had relationships with the past. Yeah, they haven't been great. Yeah, I messed up on a lot of them. A lot of them was my fault because they was all good women. I was just doing nut stuff at the time, right? But you got to pay attention to details, dog. Like, if you're not detail-oriented in anything that you do, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you don't have detail, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to pick up on the subtle cues of, oh, this girl doesn't really like me, because the mind tricks you. It's all about the mind. The mind will have you believing that this girl is a perfect 10 out of 10. She can't do no wrong. But you won't even notice. Like, your mind will have you so head over heels over a girl that you'll be blind to the subtle, disrespectful things that she does because she is so attractive, because you put her on that pedestal. So you just have to learn how to date them. I wouldn't say just don't talk to them at all. Why not? Go for what you want. We only live, dog. We only got one life, bro. Go for what you want, man. Go for it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, you got to learn how to take them off the pedestal. And like he said, treat them all the same. And I know that's easier said than done. And I'm still working on it myself. I'm not perfect. And these men look a lot older than me. I'm 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? But I can learn from them. I can learn from their mistakes. That's why I love YouTube. I love... We're in the age of information. This is the easiest time it's been to know anything that you want to know in life, bro. You can learn about past wars. You can learn about, anything that you want. Business. They call it YouTube University for a reason. You can literally learn. I literally learned how to make graphics. I literally learned how to make YouTube videos from YouTube itself. Like, if you go back and look at my past videos, I learned how to do it from this right here. So we're in the age of information. So all you have to do is seek it and you'll find. That's it. All you have to do is seek and you'll find what you're looking for. And yes, there's a lot of misinformation out of there because we are in the age of information. So there's bound to be misinformation or misleading information out there. But dog, you can have multiple sources. You know what I'm saying? You watch this guy, mediocre tutorials, and then you can come to a cold, you feel me? You can come to a cold video right after, dog. You come to a cold video, get my perspective on things, and you feel me? You can still gain value in both hands. And one might outweigh the other, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. You know what I'm saying? As long as you learn it. So
look aesthetically pleasing, they are often the ones that have the highest risk for insecurities. That's why I tell my G's all day, I don't care what she look like. If you see her out in the street, cold approach her, give yourself 3 seconds to identify your approach, but go in the first 3 seconds, because you're going to start talking yourself out the situation, as what many men do. That's why you hear these women that are gorgeous talk about, well, men really don't approach me like that on the streets because dudes get scared of it. But I say, no, there's no reason to be scared of it, because they are just as, if not more, insecure than a girl that is a 5, a 6, or a 7. And that insecurity is driven due to the focus of what they look like on the predominant portion on their life. So they really can begin to judge their value off of what it is that they look like. So although with a group within their friends, they might say that they are a 10, deep down, they don't really feel like that. And shit, this is a part of the dark arts, but the best thing that you could do for an insecure woman is to tell her no, because she'll continue to be striving for your affection, your attention, for the time that you give her, the validation that makes her feel whole as well as complete. Besides all of that, you settling for a chick that you are not that attracted to, while all these other chicks over here walking around that you know is your type, is one of them lifetime regrets, baby. And that does the chick that you're settling for no favors either. So yeah, to conclude all of that, just stop simping, my guy. Having to stay away from these types of women because you cannot control yourself is wild work. Learn how to say no. Learn how to keep your wallet in your pockets.
That's literally everything I just said, yo.
Guys, leave me your comments down below. What is it that you think about this young man as well as his thoughts? Do you only date 4, 5s, and 6s because 7, 8s, and 9s and 10s is too rich for your blood? Or they acting too out of pocket? Let me know, guys, down below.
And y'all, I haven't reached the level of dating where I've been dating the baddies yet. I've had a few, like, well, I'm 22, so I've had a few girls that were very attractive in my life. But I don't think I've reached the level of status where I'm talking to baddies yet. I would say a quote unquote. I think when I think baddie, I think 10 out of 10. I think the highest rated girl I've talked to is an 8. And you know, everything is subjective, of course. But yeah, 8 or 9. A lot of people would say that she's a 9. Yeah, probably. I would say a 9. But like, they're not like, you feel me, a bad, like, you feel me, like, when I think of a baddie, I think of Ari Fletcher. That's a baddie. Now, people probably drink her bathwater type joint. I ain't doing none of that, first off, but that's the level I'm talking about. Like, there's levels to this, you know what I'm saying? You getting the nice girls down here, then there's a whole nother level when you, hey, dog. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe down below. If you learned something, leave a comment down below as well. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.